Hi everyone, once again, and I wanna welcome everyone back for another video of mine. And of course, now I'm gonna talk and review another 80s action movie, and of course, I wanna talk about another 80s action hero, and of course, one of my childhood heroes as a kid. And I'm gonna talk about Van Damme's rival, Steven Seagal. And today I'm going to review a movie that I really very love, and I'm just gonna say with the titles from the cover. By the way, I remember it exactly. He was a covert agent trained in Vietnam. He's a master six-degree black belt in Aikido and family in the Mafia. He's a cop with an attitude. He's a cop who believes no one's above the law. Steven Seagal is above the law. Directed by Andrew Davis, and definitely one of the best 80s action movies of all time. This is actually my childhood movie. I love this movie to death. And I really do hope, really do wish that Steven Seagal does not make a sequel to this movie. Please, Steven, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't make a sequel to this movie that I love so much. I love this movie to death. This is Seagal's one of his first movie that he did. Came out in 22 April 1988 in the US, and was also that time they also did a movie. This movie also hit the movie theater, and Seagal that time didn't know it came out in movie theater. And I can say, in my opinion, this was actually my second film I saw as a kid from Steven Seagal. His first one was Under Siege. But I love Above the Law, and it's really hard to rank them because I love this movie to death. This is actually one of my personal favorite action movies of all time. It has heart, it has soul, it has great acting performance by Seagal. Probably his best movie that he ever did, his first movie. The movie was based on his story, which director Andrew Davis wrote a story with Seagal. Still, Seagal was actually producing this movie, was for Warner Brothers, and of course, his first movie. And this is the Blu-ray, which I have this movie in Blu-ray. Also, this is the back. And Steven Seagal's Above the Law, I mean, I'll say it's a classic. It came out the same year as this movie, as this movie. And if you watch my review on Black Eagle, which was actually a rant, but I gave my respective why that movie was bad, and I wish that could be better. I mentioned that this movie About the Law is better than Black Eagle because it's true. This movie, the action sequences are fantastic, the acting performance, the story. This movie is filled with action, martial arts, and of course drama, family drama, and I really do love that. But yeah, came out with the same year as Rambo 3, as this movie I just mentioned it, as Braddock Missing Action 3, Hero on the Terror, Red Scorpion, Bloodsport came out the same year as Bloodsport, and I love both of them. I love Bloodsport and I love About the Law. I probably put Bloodsport about this movie because that's actually it's actually a great tournament, full contact sports film. But this is more a police thriller, a drama. It has fills with action and drama. And yeah, how this movie was actually made. I only know what I read it, so that's been like I read it that in high school. But Steven Seagal, the stories are actually from his experience, not that he was a CIA agent, but his childhood. As a kid, he saw a master in black belt who was doing like very great moves, and Seagal, he went on the Far East, in which he actually really did train an Aikido. I think he has a six-degree black belt, in Aikido. And when he moved to US, he was open dojo, but his that time his dojo wasn't that great, wasn't even popular. Even the classes, they actually were suffering with the money. And I think that Steven Seagal, I think he also borrowed the money for making this movie. From friends. I think he borrowed the money from his friends. I'm not sure if that's correctly, but he was actually working as a martial artist, and I think he was a fight choreographer on the movies that I think was the challenging, or I think was the challenge. I think was the challenge titled, which he was working as a fight choreographer because the Hollywood, the studios, they actually went and they hired him, to serve as as a fight coordinator. He broke Sean Connery's wrist, rest in peace, while teaching him the moves for Never Say Never Again. And back in the 80s, Hollywood wanted someone, a new action hero, and they actually offered a lot of movies to Steven Seagal. Warner Brothers wanted him, but Seagal was not interested, and until Seagal, he asked the studio if they'll let him to do his own movie based on his own story, and they did. They agreed with him. And of course, nowadays, it's really sad what happened to Steven Seagal. I mean, nowadays he's really out of shape. He's old. He has like beard. He's now all in Russia. He talks so terrible, bad, awful things about action stars like Chuck Norris, Michael J. White, Jean-Claude Van Damme. I think I mentioned it, Norris. Liam Neeson, he also talks so much crap about him, I mean, I wish, he sexually molests girls, later. It's really bad because, it's really... His direct-to-video movies nowadays are so atrocious, bad, awful. He's fat, he's even out of shape. His voice is stopped by someone else. He isn't even that much in those direct-to-video movies. He's barely missing it. The fight scenes are actually his stunt doubles. The action scenes are only stunt doubles. Or he isn't even in the movie. Or he thinks, or he doesn't even care nowadays, He thinks he's a king of the world, He thinks he's the best of the best, He thinks he's the king of shit, That's what he thinks because he talks so much bad crap about Van Damme. Jean-Claude Van Damme, even though, they had a huge disagreement, but Van Damme, when The Expendables 2 released, Van Damme did nothing but positive about Steven Seagal. He said, even though he doesn't like me, talks bad about me, I wish he would get back in a shape, and I wish he would appear in The Expendables, And one of the interviews asked Van Damme why he doesn't like you, why he talks so much bad about you, and Van Damme said, I don't know, maybe because I'm good, there are actually a lot of stuff, I read it like Sylvester Stallone, from this movie, he said, that when he did the party, I think he invited Don Johnson, he invited Seagal and Van Damme. And that time when actually Van Damme and Seagal were both stars, Seagal was actually bragging about people that he could kick the floor with Van Damme, and Van Damme was so sick and tired hearing about that he would kick the floor. So Van Damme approached him and asked him, let's step aside and show me what you got, And Seagal made an excuse and left. But Van Damme was not happy, so he tracked him down in another disco, and he still asked him, let's go outside, show me what you got. And Seagal made an excuse and he left, So yeah, that's kind of one of those reasons why the time, Seagal and Van Damme hated each other, and Seagal till nowadays still hates Van Damme and talks so much crap about him. He sexually molested Jamie Presley. He sexually molested Jenny McCarthy. He God knows how many girls he molested. He was really evil. Nowadays. But today. Not today, but back in 1988, he cared. When this movie was released, he cared. That time he cared. He cared. And this is actually, he does all his stunts, And even when people are making fun about him, how he ran, I don't think there's nothing wrong with him run. I think this is actually his best performance. Not his best movie, one of his best performances I have ever seen. My biggest wish is that Steven Seagal will stop talking about on a bad way about the other action stars, or comparing to himself, get in a shape, fire those idiots who are dubbing his voice, and start to do his own stunt scenes, but he's not gonna do that. I really do wish that he will do that. I really do wish that he will start caring like he did back in 1988. And before this movie was released, his gym was actually, his dojo was actually very suffering, because no one showed up. He barely get by. That's why he borrowed the money to invest it in the project. This movie costed, I think, was around $7.5 million. Yes, $7.5 million, almost $8 million. This movie made $18 million, $18.5 million. It even surpassed the budget for this film. And this movie made even more money than Jean-Claude Van Damme's Bloodsport. Bloodsport was $1.5 million, the budget, but made barely $11 million raised. Over the time it actually raised worldwide. This movie made even more money than Bloodsport. And I kind of really miss this kind of action heroes. I miss this kind of action movies. I grew up watching these action movies. This is my action movie. Yes, those are my action movies. This is my action films, my favorite action movie, and I think that the people should more talk about the law, and they should stop watching his atrocious bad direct-to-video movies, because that's what I do. I don't watch his direct-to-video movies ever again, because they're so atrocious bad that I get headaches from it. The actions against it clock you out of your seat, which is true, and like I said. So that's actually how the movie was actually made. Also on trivia is written that there are actually a few ideas for Clint Eastwood movie, but Seagal also used it. He's doing his own story. And no, I don't think that Seagal was actually a CIA agent. He claims that he only had friends who by CIA who asked him to do favors. But his wife, Kelly LeBrock, admits that he lied, that it's not true. She says she denies those things that he claims. She claims that he's actually a pathological liar and that it's not true. So I don't know what's true and what isn't. But okay, to the story. By the way, before I continue, I have to talk about the cast. I'll talk about the cast, about the action sequences, about the story, and about my history with Seagal and, of course, with this movie. And why it's my personal favorite movie, but I'll definitely say that this will be my third favorite Seagal movie. The cast, besides Steven Seagal, we have Sharon Stone from Basic Instinct. Sharon Stone was fantastic. She's a great actress in this movie. There's actually a picture of her, Sharon Stone with Seagal, which is awesome. She was also Magnum P.I. I love Sharon Stone. Huge fan of her, so that's cool. The rest of the cast is Daniel Ferraldo, unknown actor. I think was Henry Silva. He actually was a bad guy in Code of Silence. He was also a bad guy in there. Ralph Fordy, who was also a corrupt cop in I just mentioned it. Code of Silence, was also the desk clerk in this movie. And many of the actors did appear in Andrew Davis. And Andrew Davis did perfect direction. The screenplay was written by Steven Pressfield, Ronan Shusett, Andrew Davis, and of course Steven Seagal was served as an executive producer. It was also produced by both. No, actually, he was served as producer, Steven Seagal and Andrew Davis. Only 1 hour, 39 minutes long. And it's actually a police thriller, which I love that, the cast is actually perfect. I love the music score by David Frank, and I love this movie today. I love this movie. Love this movie. Incredible to that. It's one of my personal favorite movies. Very dear to my heart because I grew up watching this kind of action movies, And there's nothing wrong with About the Law because it's actually an 80s classic action movie, and nowadays you don't see that kind of movies anymore. So the story, like I said, he was a covert agent trained in Vietnam. He's a master in 6th-degree black belt in the family, in the Mafia. He's a cop with an attitude. He's a cop who doesn't believe no one's about the law. And the movie talks about, we see a biography of Seagal, so Nico Toscani, or Nicola, more Nico Toscani, played by Steven Seagal. By the way, he admitted he's actually his favorite character. Nico Toscani was raised, I think he was born in Palermo, Sicilia. He's Italian, and I think he was 7 years old. I don't remember, not professional, sorry. He came to Chicago. He came to US, the Russian very patronite, and I think it was in a baseball game. He saw a young master using that really moves that he felt were magical. And I think he was 17 or he was 18. Actually, he was 17 years old. He actually traveled to Japan on a east, and and he actually became a master. He actually became a master 6th-degree black belt in Aikido, and he learned the martial arts. He actually learned martial arts in Japan. And when he was 22 years old, he was invited to this party in the embassy, and he met this guy, Chelsea Ross, played by Chelsea Ross, who plays for Nelson Fox. He met this drunken guy who was a CIA agent, and he also get him into a CIA agent. And for I think was from 1986, at least for 5 years, Nico Toscani served as a CIA agent. He was actually in Vietnam, and his orders were actually only observe and report. And he found out that the doctors that came out from the CIA were actually they were actually drug dealers, and they were smuggling opium. And because Nico Toscani did not like their actually how they treat prisoners, like Mr. Zagon, played by Henry Silva, who wants to cut the prisoner's legs, and I love when Seagal asks what has to do with the CIA, with the military personality, of what he said already, and he said, "Who's this? Cherry? Hey, I can make you go away." I love that. And Nico says, "What the hell are you doing?" when the guy tries to cut, the prisoner. And when the guy puts the knife, Nico uses his martial arts, kicks the guy's face, and says, "You guys soldiers, you're the fucking barbarians," And I love when Nelson Fox goes and asks Nico, "Go away," and he goes and says, "That's it, Nelson, I'm true," And now it's like 15 years later, 1988, which is actually a present, which I love that. So now Nico Toscani, he's actually a Chicago cop, He's a lieutenant, he's a Chicago cop, and I don't know which division, but he's actually a Chicago cop. And he just got I think it was a son. I think he just got a son, his infant, his baby, and it was just he was in the church, with his wife, played by Sharon Stone, and on the party, when Nico finds out that his cousin Lucia or Lucy, I wrote down the actress somewhere, played by Michelle Hort. Lucy, she's actually the cousin, and she's with this boy who's actually a junkie. He takes drugs. And when his aunt or was his grandmother, was crying, and says, "Nico, what's the matter? Shouldn't be happy?" And of course, his I don't know, his grandmother says, yeah, it's Lucia. It's this boy. I'll check later. Will you be in your bakery? She says yes. And Seagal goes, Nico goes with his partner, played by Pam Grier, as Dolores Jax Jackson, Jax. They go to this bar, and of course, when Nico shows up and asks this guy, Sifo, he was a CIA bartender. I wrote down. I wrote down somewhere. Well, actually, Ronnie Barron, rest in peace. He passed away in 1907. He was a CIA bartender, Schifo. He goes in this bar and shows the picture of his cousin, Lucy, and asks people, "Have you seen it?" And the sound of one of the guys says, "I saw the top of it," And the other guy sitting, I thought the porks no allowed. That was actually Michael Rooker with Sylvester Stallone. He played in Cliffhanger, and he made that, I think was, I forgot that movie that he made, that he was actually a star, but he was also in Replicant, which I reviewed. Michael Rooker was one of those people sitting in the bar. And I think that this guy, I think this guy was like clicking the picture, and I love when Nico says that's good. He turns around, goes and makes him, goes and kicks the living shit that guy, And the other guy tries, he uses his elbow, he breaks his nose, and uses his martial arts, he uses knee and his martial arts, and he grabs the guy, the bartender grabs him, and they go upstairs, to see. He goes upstairs and breaks the door, and to let the bartender go. He shows up, and the guy and his cousin are actually on drugs. They're wasted, and Nico grabs the guy. "You want to get high? You want to get high?" And goes and punches him right in that goddamn cocaine, Says, "Motherfucker." And the guy says, the other mattress is actually $3,000. "You want to bribe me, man?" And goes like a pure badass, punches the guy, and of course he goes, and of course, what a piece of shit like knows about the shipment, and of course, that kid tells him about the shipment, about the drug shipment, and says, "If I find you lying, I'll kill you in your whole kitchen," And of course, both the bartender and that kid get arrested. And because Nico makes actually illegal surveillance, he goes on this coke lawyer, Batista Salvano, played by Daniel Ferraro. He's a coke lawyer, and he's actually on a stakeout with Jax, and the steak, he actually brings him actually brings him no, what was already yeah, in the meat district, he as a meat worker, he and his partner, Jax, they're both actually in the meat. They're actually both in the meat district, dressed as meat workers, as a butchers. And and of course FBI shows up, and Batista Salvano and his men are start fighting. There's a great shootout, and I love when he goes, "What the hell are you doing?" And and he shoots with his gun like a pure badass he is. He shoots with his gun like a pure badass he is. He shoots at least 2 guys, kills 2 guys in self-defense. And he uses cold government model, M1911A1, and I read that Seagal, he actually choose every person, he choose the weapon, and he also owns those kind of pistols at home, but yeah, that's the pistol that he used, and shoots the bad guys. And I love the scene when when Salvano and his men, they try to escape, and Seagal, Nico goes and fires, bang, 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 and he shoots the hand and lands on the car on the roof, and I love the action sequence. Seagal is driving on the roof, and he breaks the window, grabs Salvano for the neck, and they try to shoot him, but they couldn't, and the guy said, what should do? Stop the fucking car, stop the fucking car, and they stop the car, he pulls him out, and that is for real, very, very, very done, very, very great shot, very well done. The shot was great, very well done by Andrew Davis, which was really one of my favorite scenes. He's on the roof, that's actually the best scene you've ever seen. They don't make action films like this movie, and he was actually on the roof, that was great, and then it turns out that by FBI agent Lily, played by Nicolas Kusinko, FBI agent Neely, and his partner, where's this guy, Agent Halloran, that they actually released Salvano. And I love that Nico goes on, Nico goes on his own. He goes on his own brand of justice, and he and Jax, they go and track down Salvano, which actually brings them to the church, and I love that he's actually a church, it reminds me back then in the 80s and 90s, I go to the church just like Nico. He was in the church, and he meet his friend, Father Joseph Gennaro, played by Joe Greco. And that's why this movie has heart, has soul. This movie has heart and soul. And Nico, with his partner, tracks down Salvano to the church, and he talks to the priest, and he meets other immigrants, and he doesn't turn them in, he doesn't turn them in. And there's also Father Tomasino, and and something played by Henry Godinez, Father Tomasino. And people, and of course, they don't know about Father Tomasino that much, but he promised Father Joseph Gennaro that he will show up for the next mass, and that's what he does, with his wife and his mom, he shows up in the mass, and I just love like a beautiful shot, beautiful acting performance of Seagal. I mean, why this movie didn't get an Oscar? This movie is an Oscar material, in my opinion, He was so beautiful. He was in a church. And there's this woman, and she put a plastic explosion C4, who I forgot to mention. During the raid, they actually, instead, when they captured Salvano, they actually found, instead, a drug shipment, they actually found a C4 explosive device, which they were smuggling a C4, explosive device. And the same shit, the same C4 bomb was used in actually in the church, which Father Joseph Gennaro was killed, and 7 people were killed. And Nico saw the woman that planted the bomb, and he said, get down, there's a practical effect explosion, practical effect, it's well done, it was real done. That time was no CGI, there weren't those kind of CGI or shaky cam, not that time, there weren't those kind of CGI or shaky cam, So yeah, there weren't. And I love when Nico grabs the father, carries him in an arm, all bloody. This movie has a lot of blood. He's all bloody. He goes in a hospital, and the poor priest dies. And that's kind of ballsy to do that, but no, it's kind of mean to do that. I'm talking about real life. It's actually really evil. To kill a priest. But in this movie, it was kind of ballsy to do that scene. But that's what I love about this film so much. They pull the punches, and they don't hold back. So now Nico goes talk to Agent Neely and tells him about Salvano, and let him go. And the guy, and Neely says, Salvano, he wasn't near it. I saw him and a woman, and I saw the same woman that she planted a bomb, and of course Nico says, Nico says that he's gonna get it. I love when he says Bangkok get a pow, you know. And I love it when Janelle says not even a good cap, you know. Bangkok and pow. And Nico goes, you know, to find Salvano, but in the restaurant he's nowhere to found. And four guys with a car showed up, you know, and says, I heard you're looking for Salvano. You heard that? Yeah, I know. Where is it? And the guy pulls the guy, says, right here, motherfucker. And actually all those four men who showed up, they actually were students from Steven Seagal. Because Steven Seagal had to demonstrate his martial arts skills for the studio, you know. He basically dominated his students. It's like in the open scene that you see, he basically dominated all his students, and he terrified his actors before they actually didn't know it was staged. And because Seagal was scared at the time that he's gonna hurt someone with those moves, you know, he already broke accidentally Sean Connery's wrist. It was accident, it wasn't personal. So he bring his four students to play the bad guys, you know, and they showed up, you know. This guy with the machete says, "You're fucking the people now. People are gonna fuck with you. You're a long way from Kansas, you know." And the guy with the machete tries to attack Seagal. Seagal grabs him and he kills the guy, you know. He accidentally kills the guy, uses the machete, and there's like this guy with long stick pipe. The other one is actually with the baseball bat, and Seagal goes, kills him, you know, and the guy with the long pipe tries to grab him. Seagal grabs him, throws him, and the guy with the machete runs, you know, and Steven Seagal, he runs. And nowadays, people are making fun of him. I don't make fun of him. I think he did a good job. I think he did a great job running, you know. He was thin, he was in the shape, he was actually in best shape of his life, so I don't think that's funny. I never thought when they actually, people making fun from the movies like this movie, when he runs, on the other movie, Man for Dead, I don't think that was anywhere that I will make fun of him, you know, or like John Leguizamo makes fun of him. I don't think so, you know. And when he actually goes and runs, and he captures the guy with the machete and says, "Who sent you?" You know, Jimmy Costanza. I wrote this down, you know, Jimmy Costanza. If you're lying, I will kill you in your own kitchen. And I love that because the guy was lying, was not Jimmy Costanza. Then the guy says, Batista Salvano goes and punches with the knee. He gets a knee in the head. With knee in the head. And spits. And then this guy, you know, Bulldog, I wrote somewhere down this guy, who was also Bulldog in the film, Terry Stewart, you know. And I love the guy, "Hey, that's my body. What the fuck is fucking with my body?" The guy says, and hey, why you fucking with my friend? Hey, why you fucking with my friend, man? Hey, man, I'm not in the mood. Fuck your mood, man. And the guy goes and punches the guy fall down. Say, "Hey, why the fuck you?" Hey, why you fucking with my friend, man? Hey, man, I'm not in the mood. Fuck your mood, man. Pushes him, and the guy goes and punches him, and the guy falls down. You know, he goes to this guy, dude. And then he gets a call from his friend, you know, Nelson Fox in the CIA, you know, and of course his wife, you know, Sarah, you know, she says, "Why CIA call you 2 a.m?" And I love when this guy says, because Nelson Fox is a crazy asshole, you know. He always forgets that he always forgets that actually he always forgets that he's actually he always forgets that he's actually that he is actually, drunk. He only asks if we got a Christmas card, and I love that. I love that he actually protected his friend and Sarah. He protected his wife too. And middle of nowhere, a cop shows up. The cop shows up and they go and arrested him like he was a dirty cop. What the fuck? He wasn't a dirty cop. They go and suspend him because he was because he was illegal. Because illegal search, illegal stakeout. And that's why he gets suspended. And I love Seagal's lines, great outlines by Seagal. And he goes, "Who do you think is pulling the strings? Who you think they work for?" And I just love that, and he gets suspended, and he gets suspended. He gives his pistola and his badge. He calls Sarah and says, let's move, and he says to move his family, call Uncle Branca to move my family. And I love when Seagal is driving the car and there's like, and he also waves to those kids, one of the kids says, "Hi, Nico," and he waves back, and I love that. Beautiful shot, beautiful direction by Andrew Davis. And like 5 shooters, 5 assassins with machine guns shows up and fires at Seagal, blows his fucking car, with his Colt Commando, Colt XM177 Commando. They blow they actually go and blow his car, And I wrote the actually, and when they start firing, and Seagal goes, "Freeze, motherfucker! Anybody moves, he dies. Drop that magazine, motherfucker, now!" And I love that, That's so great. Drop that magazine, motherfucker, now! And I love it. This guy shows up and says, "I don't think you can drop us all, badass." And Seagal goes, boom! Directly shoots him and he says, "No, but I'll get an A for an effort." And they go to the store, and to the store, and this guy, no, don't go to my store, And Seagal, he goes, tries to call the cops, but one of the guys says, "Hey, gives your hands off." They start fighting. Seagal uses his martial arts, grabs them, punches them, throws them. All the bad guys, he throws them. One of the bad guys, Seagal goes and punches him right out of the window and jumps out of the window, which is actually my favorite scene in the movie. That's actually my favorite scene. When Seagal goes, punches and grabs the guy out of the window, And of course, Nico escapes. They move to his family, and of course, Nico finds that they actually killed wrong people, actually killed wrong priest. And he goes to this girl, to find out about the CIA, about those CIA agents, and yeah, he goes, yeah, and he goes, he also goes to this girl, and he says, that actually, I did wrote somewhere down, he actually goes to this girl, to his friend, to get in the computer. I think I didn't wrote down that scene. I did wrote somewhere stuff, but well, I did wrote there actually whole killer team here, yeah, I love that line. He goes to this Chinese, this Japanese woman. He also talks Japanese. He goes to this Japanese friend, and they go to this computer. They actually found all the base of all elite team. And I love when he says, that are all fucking killing team here, and they actually still there, It turns out they actually planning a political assassination on Senator Harris because Senator Harrison, because they're actually all connected to drug smuggling, to opiate. They're actually smuggling drugs, and Senator Harris is against drugs, and he's gonna blow everything up. That's why the whole CIA elite team killers are actually in Chicago, and they're planning assassination on Senator Harris, and Nico wants to prevent them. He used to work for them. Now he wants to prevent them. He's their enemy. And he finds out that actually they killed the wrong priest, because the priest, Father Tomasino, knew something, knew about the something, And they also found Father Tomasino in the apartment. They go and torture him, and of course, Nico goes with his friends, with his friend. He goes with his friend Detective Lukic and Jax. They go to this apartment. And Seagal, Lukic, they go to this apartment to the rescue. They kick ass, They go, he's the door, and Seagal, I love when Seagal uses the gun and shoots the bad guys. They have a great shootout. You have a great shootout in the apartment. He uses Beretta in the apartment. Seagal uses a Beretta. He goes and uses Beretta in the apartment, and like Lukic even wounds that bodyguard of Batista, and Seagal goes, shoots him right in the head, the guy falls on the head, and of course they also use the shotgun, and Mausberg 500, and the shotgun, and Zagon uses the shotgun, goes and shoots and hits Jax, and Seagal is actually cares as Jax fires, and he escapes on the roof. They go after him. He runs to the roof. They go on the train. They switch the train, and Seagal shoots at them, and the trains move, in another direction. And we see Nico that goes in the apartment. We see all the pictures from Pam Grier, because Pam Grier stated that she loves that's actually her favorite acting performance she did, because there are actually a picture of her, and we see Stan Seagal crying for the first time. He shows emotion. His character, Nico Toscani, shows emotion, He's a human being. He shows emotion. He cares, I miss those kind of characters Seagal did, And I love this movie, about I love. And and he cries, but we find out that in the movie that that Jax is still alive. They hit the vest. So Seagal, Seagal, he goes with the taxi to his uncle Branca. They said that she wears a vest, and still, when they move his family, I love when Sarah says, what I love about you is that your pride, just swallow pride, and I love when Nico says, the babies smell good and they're sweet, and I love that, and Nico then goes, he goes on the roof, and he finds Nelson, who puts the gun on him. They go together, and I wrote those lines down. I love the parking garage. The parking garage is actually my favorite scene. I know I said that 5 6, but actually the parking garage is actually my favorite scene in the movie. So they go to this parking garage, and I wrote it. I had to write it down, because it's so good. Because the lines are so good. Sandy Fox, right now in Europe, they're trying some 80-year-old camp guard for Nazi war crimes, and all around our country, they brought guys on death row for murdering. They're murdering 1, 2, 3 guys, and they probably deserve what they're going to get. But you a couple of people that are personally responsible for the death of 50,000 non-military personnel, librarians, teachers, doctors, women, children, all dead. And for what? We wiped out entire cultures. And for what? Not one CIA agent has ever been tried, much less accused of any crimes. You guys think you're above the law. Well, you ain't above mine. You guys think are above the law. Well, you ain't above mine. And I just love that, you think you guys think you're about the law. Well, you ain't about mine. And I just love it. I love I love this movie to death, man. I love this movie. Such a pure badass movie. Such a quintessential pure kick-ass movie. I think About the Law is a kick-ass action movie in my opinion. You know. Hey man, I'm not in the mood. Fuck your mood, man. And I just love that lines, you know. And the parking garage when a whole elite team of killers shows up with Zagon, that bartender, and of course Salvano and the other man, you know, they actually great. They actually hit Nelson Fox, and Seagal grabs the gun, shoots, kicks that kid out of the car. They actually go there and have a car chase in the parking garage. And Seagal goes with the back, you know, with actually reverse driving, kicks the guy. Salvador's guy keeps screaming like a bitch, you know. Stop the fucking car, stop like a fucking bitch. And they actually crash, and the back, you know, crashes in the wall, the car, and Salvador falls down, gets killed, you know, and like we see like 4 guys in the guns, and Seagal's bullets are actually, he's actually losing bullets, you know, and Seagal, he grabs the car and tries to escape. There's like one of the guys with Heckler Koch with a machine gun, with the submachine gun, shoots and blows his car, you know. His car gets to pieces, he gets caught. Then they, of course, go in those kitchen, you know, and they put the drugs. And actually, Harry Silva really broke Seagal's nose, you know, and this is the first time that you ever see Seagal bleed, you know. He breaks his nose, you know, and Seagal was rushed to hospital, but he did return. He stayed all night so that he won't get a black eye, because he needed this gig for this movie, and that was done for real. He broke his nose and put him a needle, you know, that he was actually all drugs, you know. And Seagal goes, breaks him, you know. He goes, grabs this guy with a shotgun, bang, shoots him, breaks his neck. He breaks his neck. And of course he kills all the bad guys, you know. And this guy Zagon grabs a knife, and Seagal grabs him, breaks his arm, just like in Hard Target, Van Damme. He breaks his arm, grabs and breaks his neck, you know. In the kitchen, he kills them. He killed all 4 or 5 guys in the kitchen, you know. He kills all of them in the kitchen. And he goes like all bloody and says Senator Harrison Ford gets assassinated. In the end, he says all about the CIA agency and how they were corrupt agents smuggling drugs. And the movie then ends with a beautiful narration by Seagal and beautiful song, you know, beautiful music score by David Frank. I love the music score. I love David Frank's music score. I love the performance of Seagal. He cared that time. His best performance, the action sequences in the parking garage is actually my favorite. You know, like the shootout, and Seagal uses the car try to escape, but he hits Salvano in the reverse, hits in the crash in the wall. That's my favorite scene. Or the first scene when Seagal goes and kicks those 4 guys, you know. I also forgot to mention, I love when Seagal and this guy, what is his name already? Agent Neely, they actually go, you know, Seagal finds him, Agent Neely, what are you doing to this girl? She looks like 15. This your I know about it, you know. They go to this to the police storage and find out the C4 is gone. You know, it's actually by Nelson Fox. And I love, you know, when Agent Neely says you just actually made number 1, you just made on the top 10 most wanted list, number 4, I want to be number 1. I just love that, you know. They actually goes to this lake, and Seagal says, so you think I'm a bad cop, Neely? And I thought, well, maybe I want to misjudge you, you know. I want that to actually go how you treated me. I wanted to go and jump in the lake, or I'm gonna use this magazine and put it in your butt. And the guy goes, jump, Neely. The guy jumps, you know, in the river, and I love that, you know. He jumps the guy. I love that, you know. I love the great lines, great story, great direction, and the direction. The fight scenes are actually my favorite, especially the music score. Like this guy with the shit grabs Seagal, makes reverse kills one of his friends, and Seagal goes with this guy with a baseball bat, fights with him, and goes like a sushi, kills the guy. The other with the pipeline, Seagal grabs and throws him, that's my favorite fight scene in the movie, and the guy, he goes and hunts it down, and the guy lies, because I knew the guy lies, and goes in with a knee. I love his knee right in the head, and spits, and this guy says, hey, this is my body, man, why is it fucking my body? Hey, why you fucking my friend? Man, hey man, I'm not in the mood. Fuck your mood, man! And the guy goes punches. That's another favorite scene line in the film. I love the guns. I love when Seagal is using these guns. This kind of Beretta. He uses He uses Colt Commander, Beretta, so he uses pistol, he uses pistol 6 hour, which was when they shoot his car, drop that magazine, motherfucker, now! And I just love that, I just love that, how Seagal acted, or his lines, I love his lines. Freeze, motherfucker! Anybody moves, he dies. Drop that magazine, motherfucker, now. I don't think you can drop us all, badass. Bang, and shoots him, and says, no, but I'll get an A for an effort, and I love that, I don't think you can drop us all, badass. And the guy goes, bang, the guy says, no, but I'll get an A for an effort. Drop that magazine, motherfucker, now. Freeze, motherfucker. Anybody moves, he dies. Drop that magazine, motherfucker, now. I love that, Hey, man, why fucking my friend, man? Hey, man, not in the mood. Fuck your mood, man. And I just love that, I just love how they filmed this movie, how they actually filmed this movie, how it was made. The action sequences still, I have to talk about this movie, I love all the weapons that Seagal used. I love the fight choreography. That movie is better than Black Eagle, in my opinion. And yeah, Round 40 was also Go to Silence. And if I compare Go to Silence with Above the Law, I'll choose this movie. I'll choose Above the Law or Go to Silence. Yes, Go to Silence is a good movie, one of Chuck Norris' best movies, but this is better. Above the Law, in my opinion, is better than Andrew Davis' movie, who has directed Go to Silence. It has similarity, almost the similar actors from Go to Silence, but this is actually better. This movie, in my opinion, is actually better, A lot of people love Go to Silence. I love Go to Silence. I love Above the Law more. I love this movie to death. I love this, such a pure badass action film. It has drama elements. It's a police thriller. It has drama elements, political assassination. And like Seagal is one man, little weapon, which I love that, and the movie's about trafficking drugs, and just really, David Frank's music score is beautiful. It's perfect for this movie, and About the Law is a badass movie. Love About the Law, but anyway, it's rated there. It's bloody, like on the end. Henry Silva goes and breaks his nose, and of course Seagal breaks his neck, breaks his arm and his neck, which is done for real. He uses the guy with the 2 barrels shotgun and shoots both of them, kills like 4 guys. The guy breaks his neck, and the guy uses a knife, and Seagal goes break his arm, his neck. I love that, I love that. I love that. I love the acting performance by Seagal as Nico Toscani. And Seagal said of all his 5 movies, Nico Toscani is his favorite movie. And please, Steven, don't make About the Law 2. Please don't make the About the Law 2, because I love this movie to death. It's one of my favorite action movies. I wanted to do a review for this movie very, very long time ago, but something came out, or I was busy, or I wasn't on my mind. But finally I did About the Law, so yeah, that's my movie review on About the Law. It's almost 55 minutes. in talk about it. I don't know what else to say. Mita Davis played Rosa Toscani. I forgot to mention, when she stick up for his son, says, "Why you shoot my son like a criminal?" Which I love that. I love when they actually did a raid by Nico Toscani's apartment. I love Sharon Stone's performance as Sarah Toscani. Best performance by Steven Seagal. Best performance by Sharon Stone. Best performance by Pam Grier. Best performance as the villain, Henry Silva Zagon. And I kind of miss the CA bartender who played Ronnie Barron. I miss him. He was a CA bartender. Schifo, I really miss him. Too bad he wasn't that much in the movies. He died. He passed away. So did Terrar 40. He also passed away, which is really sad. That we lose such a great characters, great actors. I love how they filmed in the Chicago area, in the film locations. I just love all that. I love Above the Law. I love Above the Law to death. Seagal's best movie, probably my third favorite Seagal film. And I don't know, maybe third or my second favorite, I don't know. But I think it's my third favorite Seagal movie. But anyway, that's my movie review on Above the Law. And I'll see you on the next video. And the next movie film that I'm gonna do is going to be Hard to Kill. Anyway, peace and see you next time. I'm out.